Hello everyone, this is Augustine Winter from the Business Intelligence Agency. This is the 36th part of the tutorial, part D, 36D part of the tutorial. In this part, you're going to resume from where we left. Last time we were talking about how to create business accounts, and by default we say that once you've created business accounts, the default username for such an account will be the phone number, and the default password will be 4 zeros. So we created a user account by the name Tom Cruise. Then later we created a role for a salesperson. Then we set modules that a salesperson can do. Then we assigned Tom Cruise and that role salesperson. So that's why when we press at the main menu, you can see Tom Cruise, being our salesperson, can only interact with what a salesperson has been allowed to do. Tom Cruise can do sales, can view payments, and can view finances. So on the sales side, Tom Cruise can only interact with two modules, that is Sales Arena and Sales Inventory. On the payment side, Tom Cruise can only make payments and approve payments. And on the finance side, Tom Cruise can view account balances and financial statements. So you can also see at the sales inventory all the transactions that were performed by Augustine Muita. Tom Cruise can view those transactions. You can see that. So Tom Cruise can view all the transactions that were performed by Augustine Muita. So let us try to delete one of these transactions. You can see bad request, meaning that this attempt to delete the transaction is not allowed. Then you can also see at the finance side, all the transactions that Augustine Muita did are also visible on the account balances side, and also at the financial statements are also visible. So let's take us to the next part. You may decide that Tom Cruise, being a salesperson, there's some information that Tom Cruise should not interact with. For example, you may decide that Tom Cruise, being a salesperson, should only view his account balance and his financial statements, his and only his. So when we come at the account balances, at the top left, you can see this green ball. This green ball, it is green because let me first press on it. When I press on it, you see it changes color to blue. So blue means that the current user can only see his own transaction on his own transaction. Since we're at the account balances, it simply means that Tom Cruise can view his own account balance, and since Tom Cruise has got no account balance, there's nothing to see. But when I press again on the button, then it turns green. Tom Cruise can then see information that can see account balances of other accounts. The same applies to financial statements. When I press on this green button, it turns blue. So Tom Cruise can only see his own information, of which there's no information about Tom Cruise that exists inside this information system. That's why none of them is visible here. So at the sales inventory also, you can see all these transactions. All of them belong to Augustine Muita. So when I press on this green button, it turns blue. You can no longer see any transaction, meaning that there's no any sale that Tom Cruise performed. So I really hope, my friends, till there you've understood about this. They're called privileges. What a person can do and what a person cannot do. So that initiates our topic of today, and our topic of today is on how to configure the role access control and the user access control. So since these two modules, role access control and the user access control, are not visible from Tom Cruise side, we need to log in back to Augustine Muita's account so that we can interact with such settings. So how do we log out? Just press on the top right button, navigation, then log out. Then type Agustin Muita's username was that, and Agustin Muita's password. Then login. So that is it. So once I've logged in with Agustin Muita's credentials, we can come up here, account store users, then access the role access control and the user access control. So the difference between role access control and the user access control. User access control, whenever we visit user access control, these are access controls based on a particular user. For example, let me search for Tom Cruise here. So Tom Cruise has got 6 modules. In these 6 modules, you can see that Tom Cruise can view transactions from these 6 modules, can insert transactions in these 6 modules, can update transactions in these 6 modules, can delete transactions in these 6 modules, and finally can view other people's transactions. GView means global view. Can view other users' transactions apart from his own transactions. So let us try and remove the global view on account balances and financial statements of Tom Cruise. So you can see we've unchecked global view on Tom Cruise account balances and financial statements. Then let us uncheck sales arena. Tom Cruise prevents Tom Cruise from viewing sales inventory. So view and check view on Tom Cruise. So we expect wherever we log in back with the Tom Cruise account, we don't expect to see the sales inventory module, and we also don't expect to see global view. We don't expect Tom Cruise to see transactions of other users on their financial statements and account balances. So let us try it out. Press on these 3 dots, navigation, logout, username is country code 254, password, good, logged in automatically. That is it. So once you log in, you can see that changes have been detected. So then the changes have been enforced. So once the changes have been detected and enforced, let us go. We don't expect to see sales inventory at the sales group of Tom Cruise. So press on the sales group. Good, there's no sales inventory. Why? Because we prevented Tom Cruise from viewing the sales inventory module. Then we also expect Tom Cruise to not see other people's account balances and financial statements. Tom Cruise should only see his account balance and his financial statements. So let us check whether that has also been enforced. So press on the main menu, finance, account balance. So you can see now this top left button is now blue, and whenever you try to press it again, you can see you cannot see other users' transaction. You don't have the global view privileges. You see, you cannot see other users' transactions. You don't have the global view privilege on this module. Yeah, come back to financial statements, press on it. You cannot see other users' transactions. You don't have the global view privilege on this module. Good. So I really hope you guys have understood on how to configure the user access control, on how to restrict user access on modules for each and every user. So let us log out again from Tom Cruise account and log in with Agustin Muita's account. Login. Good. So once we log in, we can now talk about another configuration. The other configuration under accounts or users, this configuration known as role access control. We've already talked about user access control, and we've said that user access control are controls that are specific to each and every particular user. For example, Tom Cruise, we restricted Tom Cruise from viewing the sales inventory. You can see Tom Cruise cannot view the sales inventory. We also restricted Tom Cruise from having a global view on account balance and also having a global view on financial statements. So user access control are simply access controls for each and every user on each and every module, specifically on each module. So this takes us to the next thing to discuss. The next thing to discuss is about the role access control. So what is the difference between user access control and role access control? Yet both of them are access control. So the difference is that on the roles access control, you now enforce roles. You enforce access controls on roles other than enforcing access controls on users. For example, if I search for a salesperson, I get that a salesperson can interact with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modules. You may decide that you don't want all salespersons. You don't want all salespersons to approve to view approved payments. You don't want all salespersons to view approved payments. So simply disable view on that module. So it simply means all users who are salespersons can never approve payments. Then you can also decide that all salespersons cannot have a global view on account balances and financial statements. This will simply mean that all the salespersons, all users who are salespersons cannot have global view on account balances and financial statements. And also all salespersons cannot view approve payments. So whenever you come back to the user access control, we expect all salespersons not to be able to view approved payments. So let me search for Tom Cruise now. Tom Cruise is a salesperson. So under approved payments, you can see now Tom Cruise cannot view approved payments because Tom Cruise is also a salesperson. So the difference between user access control and role access control is that user access control only are enforced to a particular user. We may have 10 salespersons, but you just decide for Tom Cruise, you don't want Tom Cruise to approve payments, not to view approved payments module for, but all the rest should view, but only Tom Cruise should not. For in that case, you use the user access controls. But you may also decide that you don't want all users who are salespersons to approve payments. So in that case, instead of coming to the user access control and doing it for each and every user, just go to the role access control and do it to all users who own that role. So by enforcing on the role access control, all the users will be affected. So example, we expect, since I have prevented Tom Cruise since I've prevented salespersons from approving payments, we also expect when you log in, Tom Cruise should not be able to view the approved payments module. So let us log out, then log in the Tom Cruise account balance. Password. Login. Good. So the system, before the system detects changes, you can see payments. It has already detected. Yeah. So you can see it already detected earlier. It's only that you're getting the message now. But when you go to the payments, you can see that approved payment is no longer available, because we said that all the salespersons should never approve payments. So I really hope you guys have understood the meaning of role access control and user access control. So I want to go back to the role access control and return all those roles to all the users. Then let us see the what happens. Navigation, logout, login with Agustin Mwita. Then the same round, I want to come to the account or users role access control, search for sales person. My phone has begun hanging. I've recorded for so long. So let me prevent viewing on all these modules. So my phone has begun running slow because I've recorded for too long. Yeah. Sales console users, role access control, search for salesperson, then prevent all salespersons from viewing all modules. Just hanged again. Okay, since I've prevented all salespersons from viewing all modules, expect when I'm trying to log in, Tom Cruise should not access any module. Also, Tom Cruise may be denied to log in because Tom Cruise has got no accessible module. So let us check what happens. Log out. Log in with Tom Cruise account. Password. Login. Has been logged in, yes. But then I'm really sure there will be no access to any module. So when I press on this main menu, you can see there's no module. You can see there's detected changes. You can see there are no modules. No modules for Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise is a salesperson and we denied all the salesperson from viewing any module. So I really hope you guys today you've understood the difference between role access control and the user access control. That marks the end of our tutorial today. Not today, at the end of this tutorial. Let us meet in the next tutorial. Thank you guys.